Welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Will County Board for June 20th, 2013. We will call this meeting to order. If everyone would please stand. County Board Member Reed Bible will lead us in the pledge this morning and then introduce our clergy for this morning.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Executive, I would like to introduce at this time Father Raj of St. Mary Nativity Catholic Church of Joliet, Illinois, to lead us in the invocation. Father Raj, would you come forward? Father Raj. Father Raj.
Mr.
In the
Brooks,
absence of Father Raj.
Would Pastor Brooks pinch hit?
I guess Father Raj is not present, so.
He's here in spirit.
Oh, excuse. Do I get the intro? I get the introduction?
You're the default.
Thank you.
I will introduce someone who probably needs no introduction then, Reverend
Thank
Brooks.
you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not already known, our board secretary, Beth Adams' mother-in-law passed away in the state of Texas, and we certainly ask our county board family to keep her family in your prayers. Would you pray with us? Dear Lord, we thank you once more time as we come before this ground to conduct a business called the Will County Board. And Lord, we ask you to bless this ground as well as our agenda as we go forth to do your work and your will. Bless our executive and all of our county board and everyone that make up Will County. Thank you, Lord, for one more time to discuss your business and do the work that you have called us here to do. In our Lord's name we do pray. Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
Ready now? Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Sure. Zagrozi? Here. Mustis? Here. Howard? Here. Ogala? Here. Izzo? Here. Moran? Here. Rice? Here. Harris? Here. Trainier? Bible? Here. Goodson? Here. Freitag? Here. Gould? Here. Balich? Here. Rizalone? Here. Winfrey? Here. Adamick? Here. Babbage? Here. Wilhelmy? Here. Hart? Here. Mayor? McDermott, here. Weigel, here. Collins, here. Ferry, here. And Brooks. Here. Thank you.
25 members present.
25 members present. We have a quorum. Entertain a motion to place on file certificate of publication. Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Ferry. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Zagrozi, yes. Mustis, yes. Howard, yes. Ogala, yes. Izzo, yes. Moran, yes. Rice, Harris, yes. Bible, yes. Goodson, yes. Freitag, yes. Gould, yes. Balich, yes. Rizalone, yes. Winfrey, yes. Adamick, yes. Babbage, yes. Wilhelmy, yes. Hart, yes. Mayor, yes. McDermott, yes. Weigel, yes. Collins, yes. Ferry, yes. And Brooks. Yes. Thank you.
25 affirmative.
25 affirmative. Motion is carried. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the May 16, 2013 County Board meeting. Moved by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Mr. Babbage. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Rice, second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Madam Clerk, would you please acknowledge our elected officials and the media that is present this morning?
Sure. We have County Clerk Nancy Schultz-Boots, our County Executive Larry Walsh, Recorder of Deeds Karen Stuckel, our Sheriff Paul Kopis, Superintendent of Schools Sean Walsh. And we also have in attendance today, we have our State Rep Larry Walsh Jr., Brian Colgan from representing Senator Mark Kirk's office, and Dan Vera, our Joliet Township Supervisor. Welcome. And our media, we have Herald News Cindy Kane, the Times Weekly, we have Rex Robinson, and WJOL Monica DeSantis.
Okay. Thank you all. Next on our agenda is a representative of FEMA give a presentation here this morning in regards to, from Homeland Security, in regards to our issue with our flooding and how we are going to proceed. Mr. Dave Stufflick.
Good morning.
Thank you, Dave.
Good morning, members of the board and the community. It's my pleasure to be here today. My name is Dave Stufflick, and I'm the Intergovernmental Affairs Liaison between FEMA and, in this case, the county. My reason for coming today is to ask your support and assistance as you're out in the community to encourage members of the community to register if they were impacted by the flood. Time is running short. The last day to register is July 9th. And that number that they can call is 1-800-621-3362. They can also register online at FEMA.gov or at disasterassistance.gov. As these people register, they're going to go through several hurdles. The first one being the registration and completing the application. Many of them will think that this is not something they want to do. We request that they do not disqualify themselves, but go ahead and register and find out if they're eligible to get assistance. There's a lot of rumors flying around that people tend to think, well, it's going to affect my income tax, it'll affect my Social Security, affect my retirement. That is not true. The money you get from FEMA is a grant. It does not have to be paid back. It will not make you whole. In other words, even if you receive the maximum grant, you probably will sustain more damage than that will cover. Consequently, the Small Business Administration is able to, in a disaster declared by the President, able to offer loans to individuals that sustain damage. Those loans are at an unbelievably low rate of about 1.6% for up to 30 years. They can get up to $200,000 in a loan and $40,000 for personal belongings. They cannot refinance their home at that rate, but it will help them in this disaster. It's important that they fill out that application if they receive one in the mail, because if they are turned down for an SBA loan, it will then open up other avenues of assistance by FEMA. The home will be inspected. The inspector that comes out will have an ID tag similar to mine. Everyone that represents FEMA or their contractors has an ID badge. It should be worn. If someone comes to your home and says they're with FEMA and they don't have a badge, they are not from FEMA. So it's best at that point to either turn them away or call the local police. When they inspect your home, it goes very fast. We don't ask for a list of everything that was destroyed. If that person is at your home, he's probably from your insurance company. We just go and look at where the water level was, and they estimate the damage, and they send it in. They have a Palm Pilot that does that. We ask for no money. Our inspections don't cost you anything. You must be home, however, to get an inspection. We do not go around your property unless you're there or somebody you designate is there. Once that has been done, the next thing that occurs is that you will be given a letter saying whether you're eligible or not. If you're found ineligible, it is probably because they have not received any information from you regarding if your insurance company is going to pay. We will not duplicate benefits. Consequently, we must wait until an insurance letter is received that says exactly what your insurance company will pay. Once you're registered, if your insurance company is delayed in getting you that letter, it does not prevent you from getting help. Even if it goes into August, once you're registered, you can get help. So it's best not to tell individuals that you see, don't get excited. Just become a squeaky wheel to your insurance company, and once you get the letter, you will get the compensation that FEMA is able to pay you. Again, it won't make you whole. That seems to surprise a lot of people, that they think, I got this much money, X amount of dollars, that's not even going to touch it. That's why SBA is there. I would like to ask all of you to please assist us in this endeavor, because once July 9th passes, it's done. You're getting ready to go into the public assistance phase of the disaster. That's where you come in, because it involves all the cities, townships, and villages in your communities. They'll be contacting individuals to tell them in these communities when their applicant briefing is. That's an important time for you as elected officials to be aware of who's going from these various communities and that they're ready. This whole process from the disaster to the end is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And that's where another thing that you can help by telling people that it's going to take a while. It's not going to be over real soon. I would like to entertain any questions if you have any.
Mr. Mayor.
We have some residents that have already gone through and started getting dollars from their insurance company and have already started some of the rehabbing. How does that impact their registration here, and is there available funds to help them get the overage they might need that the insurance company didn't cover?
Yes, as long as they don't go over the maximum that FEMA offers. So let's say, for example, the insurance company gives them $10,000, then they could then they could qualify for assistance from $10,000 on up to our maximum. And also, you do not have to wait to start your repairs. You can begin immediately, because we ask you that you take plenty of photographs of the damage, keep all your receipts, and if the inspector comes and everything is repaired, as long as you've got proof that it was damaged and you have your receipts, you'll still be eligible.
Other questions? Any other question?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, David. Okay, moving on to honorary resolutions. Would County Board Member Margot McDermott please come forward with a presentation of a proclamation recognizing LincolnWay Central Girls Water Polo Team.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am here on behalf of LincolnWay Central High School and some of their Lady Knights, and it's a real thrill. This is in my district, and my older child was a Knight before they split the district and made it's now 4 high schools because Will County is such a fast-growing county, but I was a Knight for a long time, and I still am loyal. So here's our proclamation. Honoring LincolnWay Central High School girls water polo team on second place finish in the state water polo contest. Whereas it is the intent of the Will County Board and Will County Executive to recognize outstanding achievements of individuals and organizations in Will County. And whereas the LincolnWay Central High School girls water polo team placed second in the state finals on May 18th, 2013 at Stevenson High School in Lincolnshire, Illinois, and whereas the Lady Knights are the first team in state history to reach the state finals from the south suburbs, and whereas the LincolnWay Central Girls High School water polo team finished the season with a 30-6 record, and whereas the success earned in this winning season can be attributed not only to the commitment of Coach Karen DeRusso, assistant coaches Jeanette LaPlante, Dan Jakovich, and parents, but to the determination and team spirit of the members of the LincolnWay Central girls water polo team. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the LincolnWay Board and LincolnWay County Executive hereby honor LincolnWay Central High School girls water polo team for their second place finish in the state finals. Be it further resolved that Coach DeRusso, the coaching staff, and the members of the girls water polo team be commended for their outstanding achievement. And we have 2 of those members who will be back next year to take the team to the state finals again. We have Christy Howe and our very own Sabrina Miglorani.
So moved.
So moved.
Moved, second by Mr. Izzo. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried. Somebody want to talk?
Yeah. I'll let the girls hold the proclamation, and Coach, why don't you come and talk to us for a sec?
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for having us all. We're thrilled to have been playing at this level this year. It was a really exciting year, and we hope to have more to come. But we couldn't do it without the support of our parents and our community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, down right. Next, we'll have County Board Member Don Gould make a presentation in recognizing the Joliet Catholic Academy Boys 3A Baseball State Championship.
Coach, come on down and bring your team. Hi, Larry. Okay, Coach.
Have someone give them a room.
Yeah, come on, guys. Just come on around here. Come on. Thanks for coming. Good morning. Being an alumnus of Joliet Catholic, I'm very proud to read this proclamation. And Coach, it was an exciting game, and to win in your own hometown's got to be doubly exciting to be here in Joliet. And County Executive has something for you he'll present in a minute, but I'd like to read this proclamation first. Honoring Joliet Catholic Academy, Class 3A State Baseball Champions. Whereas it is the intent of the Will County Board and the Will County Executive to recognize outstanding achievements of individuals and organizations in Will County. And whereas Joliet Catholic Academy's boys varsity baseball team won the Class 3A State Baseball Championship on Saturday, June 8, 2013 at Silver Cross Field in Joliet, Illinois. And whereas the Hilltoppers marked their third state championship, the second in the last 5 years, beating Wheaton St. Francis on the strength of a 5-run bottom of the fourth inning. And whereas the win can be attributed to the outstanding pitching with 9 strikeouts along with an errorless defense. And whereas this winning season can be credited not only to the commitment of Coach Jared Voss, assistant coaches Jake Jaworski, Leo Mihalik, Tony Giese, and Bart Kemp, and the parents of these young men, and also the determination and team spirit of the members of this championship baseball team. Now therefore be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby honor Joliet Catholic Academy Boys Varsity Baseball Team for their Class 3A State Baseball Championship. And be it further resolved that Head Coach Voss, assistant coaches, and all the members of the baseball team be commended for this outstanding accomplishment. Signed, Lawrence M. Walsh, Will County Executive. Attested, Nancy Schultz-Foots, Will County Clerk, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Gould and second by Mr. Adamick. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Coach, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd first like to just real briefly introduce these boys behind me. Obviously, these are the guys that got it done throughout the season and on the field this spring. All the way on the end is junior pitcher Brady Kostecki. Next to Brady is sophomore shortstop Mitch Bowe. Next to Mitch is sophomore outfielder Keegan Terrell. Next to Keegan was that pitcher in the state championship game, sophomore pitcher Nick DeLisandro. Next to Nick is junior pitcher Brandon Kaminsky. Next to Brandon is senior outfielder Brock Pluth. Next to Brock is junior outfielder John Kulisic. And at the end here is junior infielder Rylan Bannon. So these are the boys. And just real briefly, obviously, we all know in Will County how such a tradition-rich athletics, especially in baseball, that we have. So for us to have the opportunity to represent Will County, especially in our backyard at Silver Cross Field, and the support that we had, the crowd, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps up here thinking about it right now. When we scored those runs and at the end of the game, that whole section, Will County, representing all these boys here behind me, was unbelievably exciting, and a lot of that credit goes to this community and their support to us. So I appreciate it, and thank you very much. Thank you.
I know we got a place for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thanks. Thanks. Go back this way.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Congratulations. Congratulations on all of you. Congratulations. All resolutions from the May 16, 2013 County Board agenda have been signed by the County Executive. First order of business, Land Use and Development Committee. Mr. Weigel, Chairman.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Tom.
First item is the public hearing for land use cases. I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Izzo. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Sure. Zagrosi? Yes. Mustis? Yes. Howard? Yes. Ogalla? Yes. Izzo? Yes. Moran? Yes. Rice? Yes. Harris? Yes. Bible? Yes. Goodson? Yes. Freitag? Gould? Balich? Yes. Frizzalone? Yes. Winfrey? Yes. Adamick? Babbage? Wilhelmy? Is everybody here? Where do they go?
They want the pictures with the state champs.
Okay. Babbage? Wilhelmy? Hart? Mayor?
Hart.
Okay, I see Hart. Mayor McDermott?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Collins? Yes. Ferry?
Yes.
And Brooks?
Yes.
Thank you.
20 members affirmative.
20 members affirmative. We are in public hearing. Please be advised that absolutely no new evidence or information will be allowed once the land use public hearing is closed. Today we have three cases. Case 6104-S, 6107-S, and 6108-MS2 V7. We do have some people that have already signed up to speak. Our first speaker is David Weber. If David Weber would like to come forward. State your name and address. Both of you are going to talk, David?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Then both state there. Go.
My name is David Weber. I'm with Rudiger & Ellie. Our address is 21 Oneida Street, Joliet, Illinois.
And my name is Vlada Shimkus. I'm 3 Glenview Lane, Lamont.
We're here for case number 6104-S. Obviously, I'm representing the petitioner. Vlad is the petitioner. Just here to answer any questions that the board have any. And I think just to remind you, we were at the board once before, went back to committee. revised our approach a little bit, and we're back before you again. So here to answer any questions.
Any questions for, any questions? Any question? Yes, Ms. Ogala.
I just was reading letters before me. I was just reading a letter before me today, and I just wanted to ask what you guys have done for the trucks, for washing trucks on the site.
You know, I think I read that letter too. I think the concern, or at least the way I read it, the biggest concern that I could see that anybody would have is if the containers were being washed out on site, which they absolutely are not. They are at the point of distribution is where those containers are cleaned. General cleaning of trucks, I'm sure it's probably going to occur. So it's probably inside the facility, if anywhere.
Okay, I just wanted to know. I just read that, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Any other questions for the petitioners? Seeing none, Dave, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all. Our next speaker is Mr. Michael Zaban. Is that? Mr. Zaban here? Mr. Zaban? Okay. I guess. Is Mr. Zaban here? Evidently. Oh, no? Oh, thanks, Dick. Okay. Any other questions from the public? Anyone from the public wishing to speak on any of these cases? Anyone from the public wishing to speak on any of these zoning cases today? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Sure. Zagrosi? Yes. Mustis?
Wait. You need to close the public hearing.
Oh.
You need a motion?
That's what. Oh, I'm sorry. We do. Thank you.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Frizzalone to close the public hearing. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Zagrosi? Yes. Mustis? Yes. Howard? Yes. Ogala?
Yes.
Izzo? Yes. Moran? Yes. Rice? Harris?
Yes.
Bible? Yes. Goodson? Yes. Freitag? Yes. Gould? Yes. Balich?
Yes.
Frizzalone?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Adamick? Yes. Babbage? Yes. Wilhelmie? Yes. Hart? Yes. Mayor? Yes. McDermott? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Ferry?
Yes.
And Brooks?
Yes.
Thank you.
25 affirmative.
25 affirmative. Public hearing has been closed. Mr. Weigel, please continue.
The first case, 6104-S, was tabled last month. To make a motion to put it back on the table.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. McDermott. Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Wilhelmie, second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary motion carried. Proceed.
Okay, for that case, it was heard by the Land Use Committee again, and the District 8 representatives met with the residents in the area along with the petitioners, and they have agreed to additional terms. They'll put in a 100-foot buffer and a 10-foot berm along the residential property at the west end along Briggs Street. So I would make a motion for approval of the special use permit for a truck terminal with 9 conditions. Conditions 5 and 6 were amended. Conditions 7, 8, and 9 were added. The latest version of those conditions are on a memo dated June 11th on your desk. I'd make that motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. Izzo, or excuse me, Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Adamick. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Babbage, second by Ms. Winfrey. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Next case, 6107-S, is for a special use permit for Type 2 outdoor display in Homer Township. This is for display of sheds on a commercial property. Committee recommends approval with 5 conditions for the special use permit, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Hart. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Howard. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next case, 6108 MS2 V7. This is for an outdoor recycle material processing facility. This is located on the south side of I-80, east of Briggs Street and west of Cherry Hill Road in Joliet Township. The first motion is for approval of a map amendment from R3 to I2 on parcel 2. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Howard, second by Mr. Wilhelmy. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion carries.
Next motion is for approval of a special use permit for outdoor processing and storage of materials associated with a recycling center and a scrap yard with 22 conditions. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Frizzalone. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Reed. Bible, all in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Next motion is for a special use permit for residents of a proprietor, caretaker, or watchman with 1 condition on parcel 2. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Freitag. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Babbage, second by Ms. McDermott. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Also for this same case, a motion to approve a variance from the maximum square foot per sign face from 100 feet to 288 square feet on parcel 1. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Izzo. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Also for the same case, I make a motion for approval of a variance from maximum fence height in the front yard setback from 4 feet to 8 feet. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Collins. Any question? Previous roll by Mr. Howard, second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Also for this case, a variance to allow a solid opaque fence within the front yard. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Goodson. Any questions? Previous by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Bible. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Next for the same case is a variance from section 8.5-7F to allow barbed wire adjacent to a residential zoning district. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Collins. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Rice, second by Mr. Wilhelmy. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
That concludes land use cases. Our next meeting is July 9th at 9:30. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. Next, we move on to the Finance Committee. Mr. Steve Wilhelmy, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive and County Board members.
Good morning, Steve.
Get a little closer. I have a couple of reports to put on file before I get into my my agenda. The first is a report from Illinois Department of Revenue showing sales tax remitted to Will County for the month of April 2013 to be $1,325,056, and RTA tax revenue received of $1,704,921. And the second report I have is our annual CAFR, which has a clean opinion and represents about $300 million of revenue and a little under that in expenses, which should be available online, I believe, if it isn't already right now. So I move to place the reports on file.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Mr. Babbage. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Thank you. Now I got to find my place again. I was reading the CAFR because I just got it myself. Okay. Thanks. Okay. First resolution is number 13-145, resolution to commit funds for the University of Illinois Extension. Hopefully everybody's familiar with this organization. They do a fine job of helping our youth in the 4-H and a number of other areas to help homeowners in Will County. So I move that we support with our contribution this year of $25,000.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Adamick. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
Our second resolution is number 13146, resolution increasing appropriations in the Will County in the Recorder of Deeds automation budget. And I so move.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Ms. Rice. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick and second by Ms. Freitag. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
And finally, I have number 13147, resolution transferring appropriations within the sheriff's weight scale budget. And I so move.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Mr. Harris. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. McDermott, second by Mr. Howard. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Thank you very much. And our next meeting is kind of in flux because of the holiday in July. That will be published before, within a proper amount of time.
Thank you very much, Steve. Moving on to Public Works Transportation Committee, Mr. Adamick, Chairman.
Thank you, and good morning, Mr. County Executive and fellow board members.
Good morning.
We have 8 resolutions to present to you today. The first resolution is 13148. It's a resolution confirming an award of contract to Austin Tyler Construction, LLC, in the amount of $196,261.01 for culverts in various county highways in all county board districts using our allotment of motor fuel tax funds. And I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Moran. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Rice, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Our second resolution, Resolution 13149, is a resolution for improvement by the county under the Illinois Highway Code for the countywide culvert projects in all county board districts using motor fuel tax funds in the amount of $225,000, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Babbage. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Goodson, second by Ms. Collins. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Third resolution is Resolution 13150. It's a resolution confirming an award of contract to Meade for $204,792 for county signal maintenance in all county board districts using our county allotment of highway funds, tax funds. And I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Zagrosi. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Hart, second by Ms. Goodson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 13151 is a resolution confirming award of contract to D Construction in the amount of $371,432.45 for the Gallagher Road Bridge over Prairie Creek in Manhattan Township in County Board District 2 using our district's allotment of motor fuel tax funds, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Izzo. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Muster, second by Mr. Frizzlone. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 13152 is a resolution confirming an award of contract to D Construction in the amount of $89,121.50 for the Green Garden Road District and County Board District 2 using the district's allotment of motor fuel tax funds, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Izzo. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. Margot McDermott. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Our sixth resolution is Resolution 13153. It's a resolution confirming an award of contract to D Construction in the amount of $273,010.90 for the Monee Road District, County Board District 1, using the district's allotment of motor fuel tax funds, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Howard. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Ogala. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 13154 is a resolution confirming award of contract to D Construction in the amount of $282,745.50 for the Peatone Road District, County Board District 1, using the road district's allotment of motor fuel tax funds, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Howard. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Ogala, second by Ms. Freitag. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Our last resolution is Resolution 13155, a resolution authorizing approval of professional services agreements for design engineering services Phase 2 with the Ciorba Group for structure and other work on the Peatone Beecher Road over X-Line Slough in County Board District 1 using the county's allotment of motor fuel tax funds in the amount of $270,000, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Howard. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Ogala, second by Mr. Gould. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Our next meeting is somewhat to be determined. It was scheduled for the 2nd of July. I will ask our members if they can still do that or not, but we'll be in contact with you on that. Lastly, I'd like to make sure that all of our residents over the 4th of July weekend be safe. And I was listening to Ken Kopis today on WJOL, and he was talking about seatbelt compliance. Will County has a little bit more work to do. We're 83% compliant. The state average is 94%. We'd like us to be 100%. So when you're out there and on your road trips to wherever you're going on the holiday season here, let's make sure we buckle up. We want you around for many more 4ths and many more days. So be safe, and let's keep it going out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Wally. Next, we move on to the Judicial Committee. Mr. Bible, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive,
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, and all fellow county board members. 2 items from Judicial today. We have a report to place on file. It is the annual report from the Circuit Clerk of Court for the fiscal year ended November 30th, 2012, and I move that we so place the annual report on file.
Moved by Mr. Bible, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Second item is Resolution 13-156. It is simply a resolution to renew the contract for food service at the River Valley Juvenile Center with Aramark Correctional Services, and I so move for renewal.
Moved by Mr. Bible, second by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Hart, second by Ms. Goodson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
The final item is simply informational, just so the board knows that we have posted for a second adjudications hearing officer. That was posted on May 30th. Applications for the request for qualifications will end on June 28th, 2013. With that, there is nothing further to report. The next meeting is yet to be determined, but it will be announced within due course.
Thank you very much, Reed. Next, we move on to Public Health and Safety Committee. Mr. Babbage, Chairman.
Good morning, County Executive and fellow
Good morning,
board
Joe.
members. I have 2 resolutions to bring forth today. The first one is 13-157, the resolution authorizing the County Executive to renew professional service agreement with Animal Control Administrator Leroy P. Schild. This is till 2016, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Howard, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
13-158 is a resolution authorizing the County Executive to execute professional service agreement with Deputy Animal Control Administrator Michelle Roseller de Dendrios, DVM, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Harris. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Ogala. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Our next Public Health and Safety Committee meeting is scheduled for July the 11th, 2013 at 8:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe. Moving on, Insurance and Personnel Committee, Ms. Grossi, Chairperson.
Good morning, Mr. Executive
Good morning,
and fellow
Diane.
board members. We have one resolution this morning, which is 13-159, which is a resolution regarding the renewal of the contract with A.N. Hewitt Consulting for benefits consultant, broker, and other professional services, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Grossi, second by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Izzo. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Our next Insurance and Personnel Committee meeting is scheduled for July 9th, 2013 at 9:30 a.m. Again, as always, all members of this board are welcome. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Diane. Next, we move on to Legislative and Policy Committee. Mr. Howard, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive and County Board members. We have one resolution to bring for you this morning. It's 13-160. It's a resolution regarding getting America to work, and I move to motion. Excuse me. You got the motion.
Mr. Howard moves to approve.
I watched the Hawks last night.
Yeah. Sorry. You're excused.
Still in overtime.
Yeah, that's right. Moved by Mr. Howard, second by Mr. Ferry. Any discussion on the motion to the motion? Seeing none. Previous roll call by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Mr. Bible. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Okay, now that we got through that, I encourage all our county board members to attend our legislative committee meetings. We encourage you to attend and participate in them. We cover a lot of information and a lot of upcoming issues we're looking at right now. And the next Legislative and Policy Committee meeting is currently scheduled for July 9th, 2013 at 8:30 a.m. You will be notified if there's a change to that time and date. And also I'd like to wish everybody a happy and healthy and safe 4th of July holiday that's coming up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Howard. Next committee, Capital Improvements. Ms. Winfrey, Chairperson.
Mr. Executive.
Morning.
Good morning, fellow board members. Capital Improvements has no resolutions to bring forward this morning. Our next committee meeting will be dependent upon the holiday schedule. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Next, we move on to Executive Committee. Mr. Brooks, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive, your
morning,
staff, and
Herb.
county board members. The first order of business is 13-161, an ordinance ascertaining 2013 prevailing wage rates, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Wilhelmy. Any questions? Previous by Mr. Grossi, second by Ms. Winfrey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
I don't know what's wrong. I didn't watch the Hawks last night. 13-162, replacement hires for Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Brooks. Who seconded that? Mr. Gould. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Babbage, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
13-163, resolution authorizing the county exec to execute and administer all documents related to the transfer of ownership of the IKE buyout grant properties, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Weigel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
13-164, resolution authorizing the county exec to execute intergovernmental agreement with the city of Lockport for permanent residential electronic and or traditional recyclable drop-off, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Grossi. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Mr. Ballage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
13-165, resolution authorizing the county exec to execute Workforce Investment Board Work Readiness Program contract with Joliet Junior College, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Moran, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
13-166, resolution authorizing the county exec to execute Workforce Investment Board, GED, Academic Skill Improvement Youth Program contract with the Joliet Junior College, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Hart, second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
13-167, resolution awarding bids, Sunnyland Drainage Improvement Projects, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Adamick. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Moran. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
13-168, resolution renewing contract with Office Supplies, and I so move.
Move by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Howard. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Izzo, second by Ms. Collins. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
13-169, ordinance approving an amendment to the Des Plaines River Valley Enterprise Zone intergovernmental agreement, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Wilhelmy. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
13-170, ordinance amending the designating ordinance of the County of Wheel in connection with the Des Plaines River Valley Enterprise Zone, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Adamick. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Izzo, second by Mr. Weigel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
13-171, resolution extending the filing deadline for the senior citizen assessment freeze homestead exemption, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Adamick. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Babbage, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
13-172, resolution regarding designation of Will County by the Illinois Cool County Program as a Cool County, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Adamick. Questions by Mr. Mayor.
No question. I'll be voting no on this one. Could you please have a roll call?
Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Zagrosi?
Yes.
Mustis?
No.
Howard? Yes. Ogella?
No.
Izzo?
No.
Moran?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Bible?
Yes.
Goodson?
No.
Freitag?
No.
Gould?
No.
Balich?
No.
Rizzalone?
No.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Adamick?
Yes.
Babbage?
Yes.
Wilhelmy? Hart?
No.
Mayor?
No.
McDermott?
No.
Weigel?
No.
Collins?
No.
Ferry?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Affirmative.
13?
Well, yeah, like,
12, 13.
is yes.
12 affirmative, 13 no.
Are we straight?
I have 13.
I have 12.
So yes means no. Is that what we're saying?
Check her.
She can't count.
It's 13. It's
Shouldn't
13,
take that
12.
long to figure.
We got it right.
No, don't do it again. Come on.
Yeah. 12 affirmative.
12 affirmative, 13 negative. The resolution has failed. Mr. Moran, comment?
We have a letter from the Vice
Use your
President.
use your microphone, Don.
We have a letter from the Vice President of Midwest Generation that I'd like read into the record. I'll read it if that's okay.
Proceed.
Dated June 12, 2013, from Charles S. Farno, Vice President of Public Affairs for Midwest Generation EME Limited Liability Corporation. June 12, 2013, to the Will County Board. As an active member of the Will County business community, Midwest Generation applauds the efforts that Will County has made and the steps that have been taken to improve your conservation programs. Just as we have invested to improve the environmental performance of our plants, there are steps we can all take to improve the communities in which we live and work. Since acquiring the Joliet and Romeoville stations in 1999, we have enjoyed a strong relationship with the Will County Board, and we appreciate the support the county has showed towards our operations and our many employees over that period of time. We congratulate you for achieving the Cool County recognition and look forward to working with the board in the future. Sincerely, Charles S. Farnell. These two plants bring a lot of jobs to our area, and there seems to be no concern from them about our Cool County designation. I'm disappointed that we voted this down.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moran. Mr. Brooks, please continue.
Our next executive meeting will be on July the 11th. We'll only have one for the month of July due to the holiday. However, I want to invite everyone to the table for the one executive committee meeting on July the 11th at 10 a.m. Next, I have appointments by the county executive. You all have them, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Scrosey? Yes. Mustis? Yes. Howard? Yes. Ogalla? Yes. Izzo? Yes. Moran? Yes. Rice? Yes. Harris? Yes. Bible? Yes. Goodson? Yes. Freitag? Yes. Gould? Yes. Balich? Yes. Frizzalone? Yes. Winfrey? Yes. Adamick? Yes. Babbage? Yes. Wilhelmy? Yes. Hart? Yes. Mayor? Yes. McDermott? Yes. Weigel? Yes. Collins? Yes. Ferry? Yes. And Brooks?
Yes.
25 affirmative.
25 affirmative. Motion is carried. Announcements by the County Board Speaker. Mr. Brooks, continue.
Well, first, let me express my also disappointment that we did not pass Cool Counties. Tomorrow is the first day of summer, and I was certainly looking forward to being cool starting this summer. I have to now go home and tell my grandchildren that I am not a Cool County. Thank you. But secondly, certainly want to just wish everybody a happy and a safe Independence Day that is coming up very soon, and we won't have our executive because of that holiday does fall on it. The only other choice, Mr. Executive, that I've asked the committee, if they wanted to have a meeting that day, they must bring brats and barbecue, and nobody wanted to do that. So I certainly want to wish you all a happy Independence Day and a safe one as well. Just want to remind you, we do have a committee of the whole after the executive session on this morning, and that is all the comments that I have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brooks. Moving on to the Democratic Caucus Chair, Ms. Zagrossi.
Thank you. Today we've once again witnessed our youth in action with the LincolnWay Central Girls Water Polo team and JCA Boys Baseball team for both having achieved their championships. Again, it's a testament to our youth here in Will County. I think Walter already mentioned the Sheriff's Department, and actually it's 86% compliance, Walter. It's actually, it's a DOT-funded, Department of Transportation-funded pilot program that's being done here in Will County to encourage seatbelt use. The key term that they're using with this and theme is, I will arrive alive. So again, especially over this holiday season, as well as all other times, use your seatbelts, exercise safety. The life you save basically may not only be yours, but someone else's. This pilot program, besides Will County, having been chosen, there's only one other community within the entire United States that was selected, and that's in the state of Rhode Island. So again, we're one of two. One of the things now that I do want to very briefly touch on is the legislation, which I know it's been all over the newspapers and so forth as far as the airport. Yes, in fact, the passage of this didn't move very, very quickly. However, with the removal of ALNAC in the picture, it does afford us some opportunities. The language that is in that document now does state that municipalities, communities, and counties such as ourselves now do have the opportunity to voice our concerns and have a seat at the table. So again, it's an improvement. We just need to move forward with it. On that, happy 4th of July, and go Hawks.
Thank you very much, Diane. Next, our Republican or Minority Caucus Chair, Mr. Mustis.
Mr. Executive, County Board, good morning.
Good morning.
It's always nice to see our young people be recognized in Will County. And we do have a really a deep tradition of our prep athletics in this county is unprecedented. I'd like to find a county in the entire country that has better prep sports than we have here in Will County. We have kids who really accelerate and achieve, and it's really always nice to see. Tomorrow's first day of summer. Everyone have a happy summer. Have a nice summer. Thank you, Mr. Executive.
Thank you very much, Jim. With that, we will be going into executive session necessary for pending litigation. So we will take about a 10-minute break to let everyone remove that aren't to stay here and get the video and all that taken care of. So about 10 minutes to 11. We'll be back here for how long, Mary? Short? Very short executive session. Thank you.